Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé Season 11, Episode 15, Proof of Love. So we're just going to get on right on into it. First, before we start, I just want to say Happy Memorial Day to everybody. Thank you for the brave men and women who served this country. Thank you for your services as we honor you today and everything. Today is also the day before my birthday, so y'all send them happy. So make sure y'all wish me happy birthday in the comments section. All right, I have a birthday tomorrow, and yeah. So anyway, let's get to this episode, and we got a lot to talk about. Well, with one particular couple, and I'll save them for last. So the first couple I actually want to talk about the throuple first. Matt, Amani, and Annie. So last week, as we know, we seen them meet up with Annie's ex-boyfriend Ray and everything. And he had told him about her name being actually Brenda and everything. And Annie was just like, my name is like Brenda and Holly or whatever and everything, but she just goes by Annie. So that just leaves Matt and Amani just like really like stunned and not knowing what to do at this point, basically. So sorry guys. So Matt and Minnie have a conversation, and they're just thinking about if they would just want to go home, or do they want to hear her out and everything. You know, Matt was just like, do you want to go home? And Minnie was just like, I'm thinking about it. So they're at their little resort where they're staying at, and Annie calls them and she says that, asks them, can we talk? And, they said yes. And Annie said that I'm also going to bring a friend of mine who's a translator who speaks both good Spanish and English. And they were like, okay, that's fine. So Annie and her friend come, I think his name was like Diego, he comes and they have a conversation. Annie opens up about a past relationship where she was basically abused and everything. They asked her, is her divorce finalized? She didn't really give a clear cut answer. She said like on the paper, like on paper. And so it really wasn't a yes or no, basically. So part of me actually thinks, and part of me just feels like she's still legally married and everything. And she was afraid to tell Matt and Amani because of the fear of rejection, and well, not rejection, but the fear of judgment, I should say, and everything. But Amani was actually happy that she opened up with her and everything. She said that was brave of her to tell her that and stuff and everything. But Amani had asked Annie that, like, will you like continue to be more vulnerable with us and everything, and and act like you actually want to be in this relationship, basically. And Annie said 100% yes. And then Annie was like, and I will take you guys to meet my family, and it's going to be as my girlfriend. And she's like, yes, as your girlfriend and everything. And judging by the previews, we see next week that she is going to go see, and is going to tell the family that she's dating both of them. So I can't wait to see that. Really can't wait to see that. So yeah, that was Matt, Amani, and Annie. Next couple I want to talk is Jessica and Juan. So Jessica and Juan, they're a couple days out before the wedding. We're almost to wedding season. It's almost wedding time, so we're gonna be seeing weddings here and stuff. So Jessica and Juan, now as we know, Juan a few weeks ago had gotten a call from his boss that he wants to go back to the freaking cruise line and everything. And and we also know Jessica's little nosy friend that always be crying over him and stuff and everything. So they're still in South Dakota, getting ready for the wedding and stuff and everything. And they decide, they decided Jessica can surprise Juan with trying to make these like these little Colombian paper flowers and stuff and everything. And he didn't know how to make them. He never seen that before, but she said that you wanted something Colombian in the wedding. So this is what we're going to do and everything. And she said her friend Megan actually knows how to make these perfectly. So Megan actually showed them and everything and all that. We seen Juan talk to his buddy about the cruise and everything, and like how he was really contemplating about going back to the cruise and stuff and everything. But he knows that Jessica don't want to and everything. So after they're done making their little paper flowers and everything, Jessica and Juan had a conversation about the cruise and everything. And basically, Jessica gave him an ultimatum. She said, if you choose the cruise, we're done. I did not sign up to be a cruise wife and everything, and everything. And Juan was like, you're making me choose between you and a cruise life? And she was like, yeah, yeah. So Juan was like, you know what? Realistically, if I had to choose between my job and happiness of my family, I would 100% choose my family. She's like, he was like, I won't go back to the cruise. I promise. Jessica was like, you pinky promise? You pinky promise and everything? He's like, yes. So she gives him a big hug and a kiss, and they're about to prepare for the wedding. And, that was a smart decision. I know Juan misses the cruise, and who could blame him? I just went on a cruise back in January. It was really fun, and the staff on my cruise was phenomenal. So I understand that life. Like, just for the one time I was on there, for the few days I was there. The staff was phenomenal, so I get it. But one, you do have a baby already. You're about to get married. You don't want to get married and go be out for 8 months again and stuff and everything. But I hope once he gets his work permit, like he can like do something similar to that on land, basically, and stuff. So yeah, judging by the previews of next week, he's gonna want to teach his son Spanish and everything, and then that's just something him and Jessica are gonna have to talk about and everything. But Jessica and Juan, I think so far are the best couple this season. There's not much drama with them. Basically. So yeah. So that was Jessica and Juan. Next couple I want to talk is Sean and Aaliyah. Now, you already know how I feel about them. You already know how I feel about them. It's around the 4th of July, and they're going out to California, like another spot in California, probably for the wedding and stuff and everything. Prior to that, Sean actually brings up an idea of a prenup to Aaliyah, like just with everything going on with her wanting the transition and like all the surgeries that she wants and everything. He decided to bring up a prenup. He explained that, the prenup is just, like, it's not to be anything malicious, but God forbid that things don't work out. Usually the other person can get mad and try to hurt you even more, and then the only way you can do that is like get some money out of you and take your money or whatever, just out of solitary revenge, basically, and all that, basically, and everything. So Sean wants to get a prenup for that. He doesn't think that'll happen with Aaliyah, but he don't really want it. But realistically, he don't really want to marry Aaliyah. And, she's saying that I don't want your money, blah, 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 and this, and that, and everything. So they chop her out to San Manuel, California, or whatever. And they meet up with his mom and everything, and they are celebrating the 4th of July, basically. And they talk to the mom about the prenup and everything. And like the mom asked them, like, what are you guys gonna do, like, if she doesn't sign it? And she's like, either don't sign it, don't get married, and I just go back to Brazil. It's just that. But Aaliyah was actually contemplating just like talking to a lawyer, basically, about it and everything. But and we're gonna talk more about this later. But what you got to do is when when the other person wants a prenup, if you're willing to sign it, but you got to put some conditions in there, kind of like what Mark and Mina did. Like Mina signed the prenup, but she said, Mark, you just add in that you adopt Clayton, which he said he was already going to do. Basically, you if a prenup is drafted to you or suggested to you, make sure you cover yourself. So, but my thing is with Sean and Aaliyah, it's just why did he bring this up now, just 2 days before the wedding? Like I said, he don't really want to marry Aaliyah. He's just doing it because he has to. He don't really want to. He don't really care for Aaliyah and everything. And I think Aaliyah does care for him, but I think Aaliyah cares more about her transition because I just don't see no. I really don't see no romantic spark between them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I'm moving on. I'm moving on now to Greg and Joan. So Greg and Joan, as we know, last week Greg had gotten that job that he wanted and stuff and everything. And remember, Greg actually still has to pay that dowry. He has to pay like, was it 5 cows and stuff, which is equivalent altogether to $3,000 and everything. So we seen Greg, and he decides to put on this like cow outfit and everything to surprise Joan. And he told us that he actually did pay the full dowry and everything, so they could get married now because they're a couple days out before the wedding as well. So he pays his. And so he puts on this outfit and everything. He goes to Joan and everything, starts dancing and everything and all that and everything. And Joan's like, "What are you doing?" and stuff. He's like, "There's some significance to this. I paid the dowry." And she's like, "Yeah, baby." And she gave him a kiss and everything. So while Greg's doing that, they're celebrating. Joan is getting ready for her bachelorette party, planned by Greg's mother, basically. Greg's mother, Lucille, got Joan a limo, went out with all of Greg's female friends and everything. They go out to a freaking strip club. On their way to the strip club, they're playing in the van Never Have I Ever and everything. And Greg's mom, who doesn't want to hear all of that bumping and grinding, has an interesting past, to say the least. I ain't going to repeat it, but she got an interesting past. So how's she going to... Never mind. But it was nice of her to do this for her. I had to give that to her. But while I really wasn't expecting that... So they go to the strip club and, they doing, and what's weird about it is that, I wouldn't say it's weird, but they did go to the female one. They didn't go to a male one. They actually went to the female one. And so, and I was telling my girlfriend, I was just like, I understand why, I think it's just because like, it just seems more like, sexier than at the male one and stuff. Even like even for some women, I know some women just who are heterosexual. Like if they go to a strip club, they just still rather see the girls than the guys, and that's 100% fully understandable and everything. So like I get it. So I get it. So they go out and party on that and all that good stuff, and they just had the time of their life. So kudos to them. But judging by the previews, I know something's not going right for next week. I think like Greg probably had mixed some dates up by accident and everything. That's going to cost them and stuff and everything. So we'll see how that fully plays out come their wedding. So that was Greg and Jen. The next couple I want to talk is freaking Stevie and Maddie. Okay. So as we know, they're in New Orleans and they're like a day out before their wedding. And last week they were at that club and and then all those girls like took off their tops and everything, and that was just too much for Maddie. So, Stevie and Maddie, like, and Maddie's friend Saeed, like, is just like really, really getting in his head a lot. Maddie feels like he told Saeed a little bit too much and everything, so now Saeed is just like just putting all kinds of thoughts in his head and everything, and he's kind of regretting that and everything. And Maddie told Saeed that, like, I may just try to work these problems out after we get married. He's like, "What? You want to do that after you get married? No, you got to do that before this and that. I actually do think your fiance is bisexual, blah, 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 and everything." I'm just like, dude, shut up. This is between them. I'm so tired of all these friends getting in the way of the relationships and then, like, thinking all kinds of things and stuff and whatever and all that. So Stevie and Maddie like get in the car and they go to this like little fancy mansion, just that they're gonna stay at and everything. And Maddie has been quiet, so Stevie asks Maddie like, "Why you been so quiet and everything?" And he was just like, "That was a lot, and it looked like you were enjoying it." She, and she was like, "Well, I didn't know they were gonna take off their tops." And he was like, "Yeah, but you were enjoying that, weren't you? You were enjoying that, weren't you?" So they get to the mansion. The mansion was really beautiful and stuff and everything. Maddie's just like really like drained from everything. And like he told Stevie that when they first were chatting, he felt like he could tell her everything without her fully getting upset and everything, and that throughout the time they have to learn how to argue right, basically. And he just once again had asked Stevie, he's like, "This is the last time I'm going to ask you this: Are you bisexual?" And I don't know why, but in Maddie's defense, Stevie is just not given a full blown like answer. She just keeps like brushing it off, and even in this, she just starts crying and just say like, "What is happening right now? I'm so tired." And we leave with a cliffhanger for next week. I don't even think they're going to be on the episode next week. I think we had to wait 2 weeks before their wedding and stuff and everything. So what is the big freaking deal? Now, I will admit I'm tired of Maddie asking in Stevie's defense, but in his defense, like she's not giving a response. Can Stevie just say either yes or no? Like, I mean, just no and forget about it is not a good answer. What she should say is, "Yes, I do nude paintings and everything. I do like that kind of thing. It doesn't mean I'm bisexual or anything, but it's just like celebrating a woman's, just like being a woman or something like that." I think that's the response that she should say, and what I think probably what it really is and stuff and everything, to at least calm him down and stuff. But she's just not saying that, and it's really annoying. So I see both sides in this situation. Her side, I see, and I'm tired of him asking, but she ain't giving any kind of responses and everything. So, and then like I said, we leave with the freaking cliffhanger, and that's just whatever. So yeah, that was Steven and Maddie. Last couple I want to talk is this goofy ass couple, freaking Sarper and Shekinah. Now, in the beginning of the season, I said that they have grown on me and everything, that I was starting to actually like them and everything. Both of them are back to where they were in the beginning. They are back, and we nicknamed them the plastics. Basically, me and my girlfriend were watching this last night, and she was just like just so irritated with both Sarper and Shekinah, basically. So they start out, basically they're getting tattoos of lips like on their necks or whatever. Like Shekinah got a tattoo of Sarper's name like on her neck and everything or whatever, and Sarper got a tattoo of like a big lip, like when you kiss somebody and then that has when someone with lips kisses you and they leave like that mark on their like from their lips and stuff. Well, Sarper got a tattoo of lips on his neck and everything. Okay, weird, but I guess. So after that, they decided to meet up with all of their friends and everything, and they have some news to tell their friends. They tell their friends that they're not going to have an actual wedding, and they actually want to have a bedding. And I turned to my girlfriend. I was like, what is a bedding and everything?" And like I really never heard of a bedding, basically. And so I guess it just means that they want to get married in bed and it's like an intimate thing or whatever. But who's gonna officiate that? Like, I have to come back and I don't have my thing here with me, but yeah, they just want to get married in bed and stuff, basically. and weird, but everybody's just like weird, okay. But then this is when things got even more strange. One of Shekinah's friends was just asked, like, are you guys gonna do like a prenup? I know you guys are a couple days out. Do you guys want to do a prenup? And Sarper's like, like, yes, I know what a prenup is, and in my culture, that's a really disrespectful thing to say and everything, to present basically. And the friend was just like, like, God forbid the worst thing, like it just covers both of you and everything. All of a sudden, Shekinah was like, babe, I never thought of it. Maybe we should do a prenup and everything. I never thought about it, but yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Now, Sarper just starts fuming and everything. And he just basically was just like, you know what? Yes, we'll do a prenup, but on one condition. And this is where things got really, for what he said, was just completely out of line. In the beginning when we first met Sarper and Shekinah, remember on season 5 of The Other Way, when we first met them, when he used to weigh her and everything and tell her that she looked fat or gained weight or didn't lose weight and stuff. Remember when he used to do all that? Well, he said this, we're going to put this in the contract that since I weigh you still, if you gain weight, if you gain a single pound, I will fine you $5,000. What kind of egotistical jackass person would say that? Like, some YouTubers I know are done covering 90 Day Fiancé because they're tired of the foolishness of the show and everything, because it's not what it used to be apparently and everything. I mean, I'm 5.5 years of watching the show, so like I have just seen it for all the drama. I did watch some previous seasons on how it was and everything, so I understand their point of it. And reasons like this is, I see why some people are stopping covering the show. Sarper is the most egotistical, disgusting, it just, these characters just keep getting worse, like from Big Ed to the Angelas to that Lauren guy from B90 last year to Colt and to now Sarper and everything. Like, it's just really getting really, really disturbing. I just don't know and how these people accept this behavior, basically. What Sarper, you will find, like you're so egotistical that you will find your future wife $5,000 if she gained weight and everything. Like, what in the world? And then Shekinah and her goofy self, she was like, well, I'm not going to gain weight, so that's totally fine. And all their friends are just like, hold up, this is just ridiculous on both of y'all. Both of y'all just acting stupid right now, basically. And they are. That's just like, it couldn't be like, like Sarper just be like, okay, I'll sign a prenup, but like, you have to do like something more valuable, but not you gain a single pound, you get $5,000 and everything. That's just ridiculous. And then Shekinah is just like, you're just saying this out of anger and everything. I'm not going to gain weight, but it's okay, basically. And everybody's just trying to talk him down, and then finally Sarper just gets up and leaves. Like, but what this behavior just needs to stop. This, like I said, Sarper and Shekinah grew on me and were growing on me at the beginning of the season. And like I said, I was just starting to like them. Now they're back to they took 4 steps forward and 10 steps back. It's just like, I can't with them. It just gotten worse with them, and that just made me sick. My girlfriend was sick to her stomach just hearing that and everything. It was sick. Sarper is the biggest, like jackass in 90 Day History. You know, we have, like I said, we have our Eds, we got our Angelas, we got our Colts and all that and everything. But I don't know, Sarper is just up there now because he just thinks he's hot stuff and everything. He's another guy that ain't Jack. You know, and it takes a lot for me to cuss on my channel and stuff and everything. I don't really like to cuss and stuff due to YouTube guidelines, but I just don't, I just can't with Sarper. I really can't. That really pissed me off so much. It wasn't even funny. I don't even think it was production either. That was just ridiculous. That was just completely ridiculous. And she kind of goofy herself for letting that happen too. So she's just as she's just as bad as him. So and you know, I have some tell-all predictions. Shekinah always got something to say at tell-alls and everything. So something tells, I have an inkling that Shekinah might get into it with probably Ameni. I feel like Joan and Mina will get along because I hear they're friends and stuff. I think like the people are gonna really like do the throuple hard. And I even think that Maddie will be hard on the throuple and stuff and everything. Those are my tell-all predictions because we got a few weeks out before the tell-all stuff. But yeah, I feel like those are my predictions and everything. But anyway, guys, that is the end of my review. We did not see Mark and Mina in this episode. But yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, make sure you wish me a happy birthday tomorrow and everything. And I'll be back on, either tomorrow or Wednesday to recap the series premiere of 90 Day Hunt for Love. I can't wait to watch that. So I don't know if I'll do the video tomorrow on my birthday or I'll just wait until Wednesday, but we'll see. But like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and have a great Memorial Day. Love you guys. Bye.